Somebody told me a story yesterday, and it's shared at this altar now, and it's a true story of how somebody just came down from her own flat and then came to where they have the borehole that supplies the water to the whole flat. It's like a big house. I have been there. It's a close family friend. Then it happened that the person was shouting before getting there and telling the security man to off the generator. What was the function of the generator at that time? They were using the generator to flush the borehole after repairs. And the generator belongs to one of the tenants or the co-tenants or this person that is shouting to the security that you should off the generator. And the generator that belongs to the one was fueled by one of the co-tenants again. And for what purpose? For the common interest of everybody, so that they will have light. And then the person that was shouting on the security man said that the security said, why? That we are using it to pump. Said that the generator, the sound of the generator is noisy and is distracting her in making call. You can imagine. You know, when you bring in these things, it looks like just a story. Whether there is a connection, whether some people will tell you transfer of aggression or that somebody is actually bitter or annoyed. But character matters a lot. When we hear these things, it's as if to say it never happened. It's not the way. Even this thing they do online now, that people may have two people may have issues, friction, and then somebody is cutting it off, just placing the one that will arouse feelings or arouse emotions, sentiments, people supporting him or her. But even at that, there are some cases you hear, you don't even need to know is here nor there. You know, it's like this thing is unacceptable, and it happens like that. You can imagine, and lo and behold, the security man did not heed to her plea, and she came down by herself on coming there. Now found out that the person that brought the generator is standing there, and there's another problem also between them again. But the thing is that we hear these things is as if to say it never happens, but it happens. We are terrible. Before I continue, we have to search our conscience. It's not just bringing about a case that happened somewhere. Are we such people, difficult people? You know, so because what we will say here is that we are bringing it to use it for prayers. But please, if you are acting this way, before our prayer works for you, you must change, and you must not be acting in this way. So that's apart. We believe that all of us are the good one. We don't act that way. But whatever be the reason, so we face the issue on the ground. For me, I call it a case study, and which we come to see what happened. How can somebody, quote on earth, quote audacity? I call that thing demonic audacity. You are saying that the generator should be off because you are answering call. You can imagine that. And then what happened? Do you know the truth is that is just like this person is an agent of disconnection, does not want the happiness and joy of people at that point. Maybe definitely that in her own apartment, all the buttons are filled with water, and she's already calculating that no how before her water finishes that the NEPA will bring light. People are like that. And if probably, I don't want us to probe in more, it may be that her own children, that she may not even have children, or that her own children are in school. It may only be her in that apartment. It happens that way. And she has calculated there is somebody that has a family of 6, maybe with 3 other siblings living with the person, that there is no way to pepper them. It's not really about the phone that she's answering, because we know the solution. If there is a noise where you are picking phone, even inside the market, somebody will say, don't worry, let me move out. Let me move away. So it has a direct, automatic solution. So the truth is that this person is an agency or disconnection. I don't want us to focus on this case study, but for us to use it to know what happens in spirit. There are people who follow us physically, but then when they do not get us, you can imagine what they do spiritually. You remember the other day that the Bible was telling us about verse 25 of Luke chapter 1, that Elizabeth saying, I appreciate God who has removed my humiliation from men, humiliation of men and women. And then you come to know that one thing about these things is that there are men and women that are there this year trying to see how they waste your effort. They disconnect you from the blessing. I know that we prayed very well about that humiliation, but can you know that spiritually there are people that are meant to sabotage your efforts? There are people like that, and that is the truth. Whatever, I wouldn't know. And the end of that story was that the person that was telling me this had few days, had a dream of how this particular person that was saying off the generator came and was like, let us be friends, let us be doing things together. And was like, are you the one asking me the way your character is? And then suddenly saw the person coming out from the sewage, from the safety tank, from the sewage. You can imagine, with all the pollutions of physics on her. So somebody that is like, oh, you are coming to be friend with, and you see the person is polluted. And that is the truth about it. Everybody cannot be the same. This is just one example, and we know that it happened. Somebody is like saying something that has no meaning, and is standing on it that he or she is right. That will tell you many sabotage that happens in the spirit. And that is how the Bible says in Psalm 124 that if God is not on our side, men and women could have swallowed us alive. It's not swallow, the Bible, if I'm getting the Bible right, that men and women could have swallowed us alive. Thanks be to God. That's Bible continue, who did not allow us to be a prey to them. You can imagine, like a flower, we have like a bird, we have escaped from the fowler, that the God has destroyed the snare or the fowler. But the one that interests me is verse 1, that if God is not on our side, so and so could have swallowed us alive. And it happens, and that is the truth. So today, I wouldn't know how it sounds, but the truth is that we are really going to pray for one thing, and I will still tell you later after another story. Recently we had somebody say ranting. Yes, ranting of the richest man in Nigeria, richest man in Africa. He goes by the name Aliko Dangote. Recently, ranting, for those who know the meaning of ranting from the richest man in Africa. In fact, the richest black man in the whole world. Ranting. Seriously, recently. And what is he ranting about? About one Farouk, who is the executive director of the small and medium stream of Petroleum Regulatory Agency. And these people are in charge of monitoring the activities of importation of oil, giving certificate and everything. And you know that Dangote has a refinery in Nigeria. And then they are sabotaging his efforts by giving many people more certificate, more license, to import oil, and allowing more importation. Why there are enough local content. And then he kills the man's business. This man is a big man. How do they say it in English? He has a connection to the corridor of power. You and I who know us, where are we? But for him, you can imagine, he has a connection to corridor of power. You and I know. But somebody still have the mind to stand on his way to disconnect him. So, and that is why he went to the press, he went to the media, he has been granting interview. This is not the first time. He has been saying it, that this time around, that man should be probed, that for him, he's living beyond, above his means, that he's a public worker, a government worker, but his children, 4 children are paying for tuition in Switzerland, more than $5 million. That Nigeria need to know, be able to probe the man, to know, because that as far as he's a public servant, that people supposed to know the source of his income. Is he his salary that is paying those tuition for the school? In fact, he went on to bring the statistics of the school fees, the names of all the children, even the one that recently graduated in Harvard University in America. He brought the amount of money the child paid. So there was tension. By the end of the day, the man resigned finally, But the point I am making here, you can imagine, there is something that was biting Aliko Dangote. Something is hurting him. And there is somebody, yet some people will say, let it not be that he wants to cut corners. He came out plain to say, he has a local content and oil he sells. And then how will he say his oil where many people are importing? So yet we can come from the angle of capitalism and monopolism, that even him Alingo there. But whether you like it or not, we produce oil in Nigeria. Can we be talking about importing? And I hope you heard. Shebi, you remember last 2 years, they said that refinery import is working. Go and tell me where it's working. So these are the things. Let's understand the thing. It's not about that he is also monopolizing. Whether you like it or not, we have oil. You are matching on oil. Why will we be talking about importing? Like what he's saying, that even if you put refinery for Port Harcourt for sale, nobody will buy because nothing is happening there. Do we supposed to be talking about that? We have a crude that you sell to people and you allow people to import back. Why we supposed to be talking about our own refinery? Yet I know that whoever he is, whatever he is called, they are a Dangote of a person. He's also coming from an angle of his own personal business interest. But the truth is that there is something hurting and biting him. You see the strategy Dangote used. You remember that English grammar I said, repito, ranting. Do you think it's a small thing? It's supposed to be negative. If he didn't rant, nobody will hear him. He ranted and they heard him because he has a voice. He has a face. There are some of us, you don't even have a voice. You don't even have a face. And that is the truth about it. But what happens? Yet, I want to tell somebody that God is the voice of the voiceless. As we are in our prayer for the last month, I may not have a voice. I may not have a face. They may be subduing you in the spirit, hurting you, biting you, doing things to sabotage your effort. But you have God. You have somebody somewhere. And that God is actually a voice for you. And that is why our prayer point this morning simply says, oh God, speak in my favor. Speak in my favor. I told you there is something I will say and we end. That should be our prayer point. Speak in my favor, oh God.